because one of the biggest issues about cards like Snuff Out are that, they're inherently restricted. Mostly black can't actually kill black creatures,
Right.
and so Go for the Throat kills their Tombstalker, it kills their Dark Confidant, and it is a very, very strong card in the deck for the low price of 2 mana.
Joe, hand that to Rashad. Or Drew can do it since Joe is not.
Sorry, I was tweeting the matchup.
Yeah. Dan also has the sweet sideboard tech, which we're going to get to see today, of 2 Consuming Vapors in the sideboard.
Nice.
Yeah, I was sitting there and I said, well, what do you think about Diabolic Edict? And he said, no, I really want to gain some life. And he said, well, I don't know, what gains life? And I was like, well, I mean, Blue Black and Standard used Consuming Vapors once upon a time. And he said, well, I mean, if I just kill all of their dudes, then Consuming Vapors their Tarmogoyf and their Knight of the Reliquary, don't I just gain infinity? And I said, yeah, but that's real slow. And he said, well, no. I mean, games are going long anyway. And I said, yeah, try it. And 2 of them stuck.
Why not give it a shot? It makes sense to me, though. I mean, if it's killing all the other guys and then making them sacrifice something big, then he's going to get a nice chunk of life.
And amusingly enough, also a one of in Dan Signorini's deck is Sylvan Library, which provides him with free card selection. Do I want this Stifle? No. Do I want this Hymn to Torok? Yes. Do I need this Wasteland? No. And is one of very few ways to actually get ahead on cards to avoid, getting outpeeled.
So these guys are 2 of your teammates?
Yeah.
Do they know each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we have had test sessions before. I assume they both know what the other one is on.
Okay. And what do you feel like has the edge in this matchup?
It's, yeah. I think that it's actually a very interesting interactive matchup because Dan can either choose to go for Kemper's business, go after his Tarmogoyfs and Knights, because Kemper's basically playing a big version of Zoo. So he has Green Sun, Zenith, and Noble Hierarch. Could we see the deck list?
Yeah. You got it? Good.
Yeah, he has Green Sun, Zenith, 3 Sylvan Library, 4 Noble Hierarch, and 3 Knight of the Reliquary, 1 Terravore.
Yeah, Kemper. That's Kemper Pogue on the right, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. And yeah, he used to have a natural order package in the sideboard. It looks like he's cut that. Still has the vestige of it with the one of Dryad Arbor.
So you can use the Zenith for that.
Right, he can Zenith for Arbor on turn 1. And so this is going to actually be a fairly interesting matchup, considering that Kemper's only reach is 3 Lightning Bolt. So no Chain Lightning, no Fire Blast, no Price of Progress, just 3 Lightning Bolt. This is going to be a creature versus removal sort of game with a lot of interesting tactical issues posed by Kemper's 8 fetch lands and the 4 wastelands of his own. So both people really have a legitimate shot at mana screwing the other one out of a game, should that option sort of present itself with the cards that they see.
Meanwhile, it looks like Daniel's already brainstormed and then just finished up Ponder. Meanwhile, Kemper, who has Land and Hierarch. Specifically Taiga, Hierarch, and now
Wild Nacatl,
which right now is just a 2/2.
And so he has Windswept Heath, Wasteland, Horizon Canopy, Green Sun Zenith, and Tarmogoyf in his hand. So
that way, that Nacatl can be a 3/3 when he's ready.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in with the Hierarch, comes in and pokes him with that stab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Get in there, little buddy.
I miss Noble Hierarch in Standard.
I was gonna say
Don't we all?
then play Extended.
No.
So
I
we
know
have,
you will.
We have Predict. And predict.
I know what it does, but he doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's that Tombstalker that I wasn't going to cast anyway. And now we have some lands.
Yeah, the way predict does work is if you successfully predict the card on top of your library, you get to draw 2. Is that right? You have to put the top card into your graveyard.
Right. You mill the top card in any case.
Yeah.
So of course predict has a ton of value against, say, someone flipping their Sensei's Divining Top to counter your Ponder. It has insane value against Enlightened Tutor. Essentially functioning as an arcane denial that draws you the 2 cards instead of them. And of course has regular synergy with cantrips like Brainstorm and Ponder.
Yeah, it's a card that I see a lot in countertop.
Yeah. You don't see it a whole lot in a tempo deck like Team America, but in a deck that really, really needs ways to get ahead, holding up Stifle Mana and then end stepping the Predict is not a bad way to go about doing things. Oh boy.
Meanwhile, Kemper is really setting things up.
Kemper looks like he might have an opening to knock Dan out of the game with his Wastelands. So does Knight resolve? If Knight resolves, then this looks real bad for Dan. I think I see a Force of Will. Yeah, it's the middle card in Dan's hand. And it looks like he's okayed it because Kemper keeps fussing with his hand.
Right.
And looking like he's about to play something.
Yeah.
Nope, that's a Force of Will.
So he removes the daze so he can force.
That daze was not doing a whole lot. Yeah, Wasteland your Underground Sea.
Wow.
Let's see if Dan has the way to get another land. Ponder, seeing what looks like Wasteland up top.
Just want to remind everyone, in addition to all the other tournaments today, we still have the sign up right hand side of this.
And so a lot of people have asked me about Ponder versus Preordain in Legacy. Because, I mean, the two seem very, very similar. They are very, very similar. But, you know, as with most things in Legacy, it's the little things that will eventually win you games. And so the reason why Dan is playing Ponder over Preordain is that a lot of the time he's looking for a very specific card. He doesn't necessarily want to, you know, play it as a sleight of hand and, you know, put one in his hand, put another one on bottom. Often he just needs to find a Tarmogoyf, or he needs to find a Tombstalker, or he needs to find a Snuff Out. And so seeing 4 cards instead of 3 is a very useful thing. Additionally, Ponder has a ton more synergy with Predict, since you can draw the top card, draw the second card, and predict away the third card.
Yeah, some nice interactions there.
Yeah.
So Kemper has landed a Tarmogoyf and is continuing to beat down with that wild card. And Daniel just now hitting his 3rd land after having that Wasteland take out his land a couple of turns ago.
Still not quite stabilized on a very, very tenuous 7 life.
Tombstalker. What is that, Delve? Is that what what's
Yep.
the name of the...
Delve, yeah.
It's like the only card with Delve, right? Is there anything else with Delve?
There are, I think, 4 or 5 cards from Future Sight with the mechanic Delve.
The only one I ever think of is Tombstalker.
Yeah.
Right, it's the only one that's really ever seen play. Death Rattle is another one. Logic Knot is another one.
I do remember Logic.
Mm-hmm.
Logic saw play in block as a mystical teachings slot.
Right.
Since late game it was very much a counter spell.
Right, exactly.
So Green Sun Zenith for 1.
For 1 or 0 for 1, yes.
That's going to get Grim Lavamancer. This is going to be a very, very... Oh, or it could get Noble Hierarch. It's either Grim Lavamancer or Noble Hierarch.
Somebody asked if Daniel's using Stifle, and the answer is yes, he has Stifle in his deck.
Yeah, just load up on those Exalted effects.
Is it Dan? Is that how you know him as Dan? Not
Yeah,
Daniel?
Dan Signorini.
Just call him Dan.
So yeah, the extra Noble Hierarch is probably going to push the Tarmogoyf out of Tombstalker's capacity to block. Yep. Exalted all the way up to a 5/6. And Dan goes to 1. His outs at this point are Hardcast, Go for the Throat, Hardcast, Snuff Out, and another land for Engineered Explosives on 2 plus activation. But even then, he's still pretty far behind. Ooh, Engineered Explosives on 1, I like it.
Alright, I lied. Goblins is a bad matchup.
And Jerry's back, having picked up his second loss.
Yeah. I just got obliterated in this round.
You guys want to take over for a minute?
Sure.
Not
Yeah.
the least, but alright.
Really?
Oh, so bashful. Right, okay.
Kemper is one of the people I lost to.
Yeah, Kemper and Dan are both teammates of mine, so.
Yeah.
Right, this is Drew Levin here with Jerry Thompson. Both of the Joes are off for a stroll. So yeah, we have Team America versus Big Zoo. He's Zenithing for 1. I think at this point, I'm pretty sure just Grim Lavaman. Why wouldn't you get Grim Lavamancer? Kemper, what are you doing?
Is it going for 4/5?
It's irrelevant. I mean, like, he needs a removal spell for Grim Lavamancer or he's dead.
Oh, okay, I see. But no, yes. But he needs a removal spell for the Tarmogoyf, and he gets to kill his Tombstalker.
That's fair.
So, Drew Levin, what are you doing?
What am I doing?
And a Sylvan Library, that's good.
Yeah, no, both of these are Sylvan Library decks.
Unless it gets dazed, I guess.
I don't think I'd be too worried about that. I mean, like, Dan's not casting anything here, even if he does have the removal spell.
Same.
Sure, what happened?
I got crushed.
It turns out that when you get 4 hours of sleep and then you play in the finals of a standard tournament, you're not so hot to make the top 8.
I wish I could blame it on sleep. I wish. I got my little sleep thing. I think I would have lost on next week.
Yes. Just
Tombstalker number 2, which is pretty awesome. Makes that Goyf a lot smaller.
I don't think Dan knows that he can overdelve.
What for? I need Drew.
I'll fill in for Drew, who was filling in for Joe. Anyway.
You're filling in for your original position.
Yeah, exactly. Because I just basically wanted to keep watching this match. So I stuck around. One life against a deck with red, and it seems a little frightening.
It's tough, although he doesn't have that much burn in his
3
deck.
bolts.
Oh, wait.
And
Drew!
Lavamancer?
You wanted him to Zenith for a Lavamancer?
Yeah, why not?
Because it's not green.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Look, I don't actually know the card. I didn't play that card in my deck or anything.
It's the only card.
Drew Levin, ladies and gentlemen.
He, in here this morning, he's like, here, I'll show you what I'm playing. And he'll hold up Green Sun Zenith. It's the only card he would reveal.
It's not even like I played that card in my deck today. Wait, no, I did.
Did you use it to search for black creatures?
No. I didn't have any. They were all green.
Fair.
I knew how to build a deck.
Okay. So apparently Kemper Pogue, who's the guy that you lost to
Correct,
last round,
yep.
is a good friend of Drew's. He knew exactly who we were talking about.
Yeah.
Could Kemper take that one down? I think
He
so.
did, yeah. He ended up playing a Knight of the Reliquary, and Dan didn't come up with anything. I imagine his deck is pretty weak against creature decks. Like, he definitely preys on the control and combo decks, but not too many removal spells. Has a lot of cards like Daze, which Kemper was playing around. So that's like another pseudo-dead card. Stifle, another thing that Kemper can play around, and probably knows that it's in his deck because it's his friend.
Right.
So, Dan Signorini actually doesn't have that many live draws in his deck.
What do you think he brings in?
Seems like Kemper is going to want Path and possibly Jit. I don't know if he wants to bring in any Enlightened Tutors with those Jits. I'm not sure how excited he is about a sideboard package, like, you know, that kind of thing. Like, he brought in the Tutor and the Jit package against me, but that's because, like, you know, you connect with the Jit and you automatically win.
Yeah.
So being down a card from the Tutor isn't really that relevant. But, yeah, it seems like Path, maybe Jits, not too much other action going on in his sideboard. I guess, like, Choke is kind of a card, but Dan has, like, Wasteland and Bayou and, like, Daze, so maybe it's just not what you want to be doing. It's not really the thing that you want to be fighting. Like, you just want to kill his creatures, like, clear the blockers and get them. So. And meanwhile, Dan has Ghastly Demise, a Dark Blast, 2 Consuming Vapors.
Yeah, that was what we were
which
talking
is
about.
probably the first time I've ever seen that on a Legacy deck list.
Yeah.
And another Engineered Explosives.
It seems like he brings in just as much removal as he can, really.
Yeah, that's exactly what you have to do.
And then I think this is what what Drew was saying about the Consuming Vapors, saying what Daniel wanted to do is just try to use the removal on everything but the Knight of the Reliquary or Tarmogoyf, and then Consuming Vapors so he can gain a chunk of life too. So.
Well, that's going to be tough because Kemper has a Dryad Arbor in his deck.
Yeah.
So if he ever keeps a fetch land open, like I imagine that these guys know each other's deck lists.
Yeah.
So if he knows the Vapors are there, Dryad Arbor is just a giant beating.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But then again, Dan does have Stifle.
Right.
So he can stifle the fetch land, but...
And who knows, you know, it may be a situation where the Dryad Arbor has already been dispatched, I guess. You know?
Yeah, he could Zenith for it on turn 1.
Right. Gain a little
but
mana advantage.
When you bring in all this removal against a Zoo deck, particularly this Zoo deck that doesn't have all that much burn, Jace actually starts looking pretty good too. Because he doesn't really have a draw engine, so he's trading 1 for 1 against a Zoo deck that is full of threats, but his deck isn't full of removal. So Jace is actually probably pretty good.
Yeah. I see him cutting 4 Stifle, 4 Days, for 2 Jace, 1 Ghastly Demise, 1 Dark Blast, 2 Consuming Vapors.
Okay, the thing about that is, we were talking about the Consuming Vapors and the fact that Kemper has a Dryad Arbor.
Sure.
So maybe he kind of wants the Stifles for that. And also, that makes his force...
I mean, he can still just, like, hold Wasteland for Dryad Arbor. Just, like, use Wasteland to strategically cut him off of, like, whatever he needs to cut him
Yeah,
off.
that's true. So there's, like, a Trump, and, like, a Re-Trump, and a Re-Re-Trump, you know.
Sure.
But it makes his blue count for Force of Will really low, and I don't necessarily like Force of Will in this matchup anyway. You don't want to 2-for-1 yourself to, like, kill a Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, but the thing is, if they stick Sylvan Library, you're really far behind. Because if they basically just get to find whatever they need every single turn, then your Tarmogoyfs aren't sticking as much as you want them to. Your Tombstalkers aren't sticking as much as you want them to.
Yeah. And that's certainly true, but then he's going to have 14 cards for Force of Will, like, maybe more if he brings in Jace. That's still really low.
Okay, so probably, like, keep a few days in to keep him honest. Yeah, days.
Dazing a Noble Hierarch is just not the best feeling in the world, I don't think.
I mean, like, if your plan is keep him off of a bunch of mana early, then, I mean, why not?
Drawing the Miser's Dark Blast for the Noble
snap
Hierarch.
that thing off.
That's insane. That's another card that combos incredibly well with Consuming Vapors.
Yeah. I mean, also, now every single Grim Lavamancer is just dead in the water.
Every single Lavamancer that you would ever want a Zenith for.
Yeah, thank you, Jay.
All of those.
I've said a couple dumb things this weekend. I think that's not even up there.
At least you didn't play a Thrun when you had a Thrun in play this weekend.
No, I definitely did that 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
At least I'm not buried aliving for a Dark Blast.
I never tried to do that. I was yelling.
I tried to do that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I'm bringing it up.
All right, so looks like Kemper's getting hemmed. So now he's down to 3 cards and 1 land in play. With the Noble Hierarch in his hand facing down, like that Dark Blast still in the graveyard, so.
Oh, that Dark Blast. Oh, yeah, here we go. And we're going to Zenith for the Dryad Arbor, probably.
Most likely.
I mean, when playing against Resource Denial, probably the best strategy is to always just prioritize getting your mana online before everything else. So that you can at least cast your spells. Because if you have, like, a Knight of the Reliquary, a Tarmogoyf, and a Sylvan Library in hand, but you only ever have 1 land, then it doesn't matter that you have 3 cards. You basically have 0.
Oh, looks like he decided to Dispel. He really wants to protect his Goyfs and Tombstalkers from Path and Swords.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
He has about as much of a fondness for Dispel as you do.
That's awesome. I want to be friends with this guy.
He's a good guy to be friends with. Guy is also a triple PhD, and I think, black belt in Krav Maga. I wish I were kidding. This guy's just stone cold cooler than everyone I'll ever know.
He's just a dreamboat.
Yeah, he seriously is.
Yeah.
Engaged, by the way. Sorry, ladies.
Oh. Or boys. I don't know.
Or boys. Yeah, there's your hand. Nice hand, Kemper.
See, I was thinking that he might want a Zenith too, just to empty his hand and like have a little beater, but did he just peel another land?
He probably peeled. I mean, like, what could he possibly have lined? Like swords, plowshares, lightning. Nah, he cuts lightning bolts. It's gonna be swords. Like, he drew swords to plowshares. Because, like, he casts Nikadal, he casts Lavamancer, he casts Hierarch, he casts Tarmogoyf. The man has the swords to plowshares in his hand.
Man.
And Dan is not afraid. No, I will not delve away my
my Dark Blast. Should probably keep that one.
Yeah, keep my instant. Delve away my engineered explosives?
Make his Goyfs less relevant.
Sure.
Since he has the threat now.
Huh.
Yeah, so it looks like Kemper
held the land.
Yeah, he did hold the land, which I don't know. I guess if he has a hymn, you kind of want him to use it there, so that in case you do draw swords, then he doesn't get value out of it.
Right. The thing is, the guy's already cast 2 hymns on Sylvan Library. Now we get to see how good it is when it's black bordered and on the side of the table with the islands.
To be fair, Dan only has 1 Sylvan in his deck.
Yeah.
So these are not both Sylvan Library decks.
Correct.
I still don't think Sylvan is all that much better than top.
I mean, they do different things. Like, the top decks are always just so mana intensive that it's very, very easy to get behind on board, which is not where the Team America deck wants to be, or can really afford to be.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Team America, but with the Zoo deck, he has a ton of mana sources. He has, virtual Llanowar Elves with Green Sun Zenith. He has Noble Hierarchs.
Right. Like, if we're counting Green Sun Zeniths as, a bunch of split cards that can include Llanowar Elf, then he has
24 lands?
I mean, he already has...
he has 24 actual
24
lands.
Physical lands, and so he has 32 potential mana sources, although the extra Green Sun Zeniths, once he has Dryad Arbors, stop being mana sources.
Right.
So over half his deck can be mana. I don't know. No one's ever really put Sensei's Dividing Cup in Zoo before.
I made Jacobson play it last week.
How'd he do?
He was like X and 2 or X and 3, But
well, that's
it was
Josh Jacobson. So like, imagine what.
yeah, I know
could
exactly.
do.
But it was Punishing Fires. It was like Noble Hierarchs, Wasteland, Knight. So similar to Kemper's deck, but instead of Greenstone Zenith, we had Punishing Fire on top.
Yeah.
So Jacobson said he was really happy with the deck, but I know he played against 2 people playing Ant. Like
yeah,
there's
Did he have Mindbreak traps?
I wrote him out a sideboard list, and it was like 3 slots, 3 grip, 3 slots for combo. You know, just, so he put in whatever. I'm not sure what he actually had. It might have been Mindbreak Trap.
I remember him asking me about that at some point. You're like, what are you supposed to play in Zoo against combo? And I said either Canonist or Mindbreak Trap.
Yeah.
So
I would think that a mix is better, no matter what.
You do or you don't?
I would think a mix is better.
Oh, okay. I mean,
like,
Gaddock can also be a good...
Right. I'm just saying, like, you want something that necessarily can't get to rest every game or Chain of Vapor every game. You know, you want them to have to draw the right anti-thing for your hate cards. So I think, like, even if you only have 3 slots, like, you want to play 2 traps or 1 canonist or vice versa. We have, ladies and gentlemen, a treat for you.
Gerard Fabiano, here in the coverage booth.
I actually have a treat for you guys.
You do?
Extra large Twix bar.
Oh boy.
Yeah, can you believe it? I was just
Dude,
here.
this is insane.
Gerard, you run so good.
Want to see other Joes? I think we should eat it. I see other Joes.
Dude, there's 4 of us, and there's 4 pieces of this Twix bar. Is that a coincidence?
You should. Gerard, you should just take 1 bite out of it.
Just 1 bite.
Just 1 bite.
Next event Joe's going to be at.
Show some restraint.
We'll see. Yeah, I was going to say if he was at Edison, I was like, buy him like something nicer.
Wild Nikado,
Dude,
Windswept
just mail it
Teeth,
to him.
Path, Swords,
All right, back to the
Tarmogoyf,
game.
Pride Mage, Noble Hierarch. So
Kemper has how many land?
solid hand, but only 1 land.
So is the play here to open on Zenith for 0 so that you at least have 2 lands? Like
He doesn't have a Zenith. He has a Nikado.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to play Noble Hierarch here.
Right. So it's Tega Hierarch.
No, it seems like Savannah when he has 2 swords.
Yeah, fair. I guess also he boarded out his red card, so it's irrelevant.
Did he board out Lavamancer as well?
Could be.
Well, sadly, Gerard Fabiano left the booth. I think he had more important things to do. He had other Twix bars to steal, but we have Megan Holland, who, no, now she's leaving too. This is wonderful. No one wants to watch this match.
Runs away from publicity.
Apparently, this Noble Hierarch versus Ponder matchup is not all that, riveting.
Entrancing, yeah. Not doing it.
All right,
for
Kemper is
peeling fetch lands like it's his job.
he's doing good now. Now we get a Taiga. We get to play a Tarmogoyf and a Wild Nikado.
Yeah, beat down. Fully powers Wild Nikado. He has options. He's playing multiple spells.
So you lead with the Goyf here, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like Pride Mage.
So that it
or-
doesn't get dazed.
Well, no, but I mean, as far as like the 2 drops that you do lead with, do you think it's Goyf or it's Pride Mage? It looked like he wanted to play the Pride Mage there.
I would think Pride Mage if you put him on Force of Willing your Goyf.
Right, but he's not necessarily going to force a will the Pride Mage. So then you have.
So then you get
You-
in for
you-
2
you
with
have-
the
you have
Noble
this-
Hierarch? Or you
no,
just
you
cast
have-
Nikado and get it
You
dazed?
have this 2-power beater, but it just doesn't seem all that important.
Yeah.
Because you're playing Nikado also, so then you have a 3/3 and a 2/2, and
Then you bring for 5
It
next
seems
turn.
much better to just like play Goyf and either get it forced or have it resolve, and then you have like this awesome beater. But
Yeah. I mean, I think what's going to happen is he's going to attack for 5, and then Dan's going to engineer and explode his board. He's going to play a Tarmogoyf, and Dan is either going to have another sweet removal spell, or the game is going to get a little awkward.
yeah,
Either one of you guys, don't throw your elbows back. Face.
Hey, Jerry, on 3, right?
so it looks like Dan is shuffled with both of these ponders. He's not really finding what he wants. With a grip full of Tombstalkers, it looks like, or Tombstalker and a Goyf.
And no land? Is he just breaking on 8 cards?
No,
for
he's got to have a land. Come on now. Oh dear.
Yeah, no.
Those all look like
I know
spells.
that look.
And that's a Jace. He's discarding a Jace.
Bang.
That's insane.
Nope, this game is not going good for Team Islands. Take 5.
You have to play the Goyf here, right? Instead of the Sylvan?
Yeah.
Like you're so far ahead already, you just want to keep it going?
Yeah, no, you just have to make him... I mean, like, his options are Underground Sea into Snuff Out plus Go for the Throat.
I think if he had Snuff Out, he would have used it on that Nikotl.
Nope, he wouldn't have, because you want to know what Snuff Out requires?
Oh, Swamp, that's a tropical island.
Bang!
Man, Snuff Out sucks. See, Dan's brainstorming, like...
I mean, like, you have to run it.
He has to have, like, actual perfects to win this game.
Yeah, I don't see him hitting, like, the runner. Kemper, like, breaking off at least 2 turns.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't...
Well, and Kemper has Sylvan Library, which Dan doesn't know about, so
right.
Kemper's never breaking off.
Yeah.
And even if he does break off, he can just pay 4 life and dig a little deeper.
Yep.
It's not like Dan's really doing anything about this.
I think we've got the C. Yep.
Definitely has the C. Go.
Passing the turn. I
So,
think Ghastly Demise would be the best card he could have here.
Ghastly Demise your Nikotl, Snuff Out your Tarmogoyf.
That would be the best combination, but if you have a Ghastly Demise, I think you play it on your turn, right? Or no?
Why?
How big is Goy? 4/5? Man. Ghastly Demise sucks
Land,
too.
instant sorcery, Planeswalker. Is Ghastly Demise power or toughness? Snuff Out the Tarmogoyf.
I don't remember if I could Ghastly Demise a Birds on turn 1. I'm pretty sure I couldn't. But...
You can with a fetch land.
Well, no, I know, but I'm
Well,
talking
yeah,
about like
yeah.
old standard from playing Ghastly Demise. I don't remember if it was power toughness.
God, you're old.
Yeah. Welcome to the show. Snuff Out is not quite the removal
So we have the
spell.
Engineered Explosives. We had the Engineered Explosives.
It just took too long.
Yeah. Just like bricked off on lands forever.
Typically keeping a 1-lander with 2 ponders, I mean, you should be able to find something.
Yeah, in 5 cards, like 3 that you see, if you don't see those shuffle, draw for your next turn, like you still don't see a land, you're just very, very unlucky.
So it looks like he has 6 cards in his graveyard. He can potentially play Tombstalker with the spell backup. But he doesn't know that Kemper has 2 removal spells.
So he runs 1 on end step, and then...
Does he run 1 on end step against a hand of 5 cards?
I mean...
With your opponent at 5 with lethal on board, don't you want to just like play around something like Double Days?
I mean, like... Yeah, I suppose. A smarter
look,
man than me.
Kemper's playing exceptionally well. Oh, Wasteland. That's going to put him even further back. This is tough.
Yeah,
having
that Engineered Explosives is never getting played.
No. Kemper peeling that land on turn 2 was exactly what he needed.
Well, and Dan not peeling that land on turn 2.
Yeah, exactly. we know who's running better here in this situation.
Yeah. And Wasteland your Underground Sea.
I imagine this matchup isn't that good for Dan to begin with, though.
I mean, if he ever gets to cast his 3s and 4s, it's insane. But I mean, like if he ever gets to 3 with 3 lands, he starts casting 2 spells a turn.
Well, here's the thing. Kemper's playing 24 lands. Dan has 20.
Right.
So Dan isn't all that likely to get to 4, and he only has so few removal spells. Oh, Kemper actually did something that, well...
So he ran the Path first.
Path first, which kills him on the spot.
Right. But didn't play around the, yeah, so now he basically...
No, because if you lead with swords and he doesn't have anything, then he doesn't die that turn.
Yeah, but then you also have your Path. And they still have their counter, but you still have your Path.
I mean, do you bait with the one that you don't necessarily want to resolve?
I mean, assuming that that they need to hold on to their thing, sure.
Fun fact, Path is just stone cold terminate against Dan. Not a single basic in his deck.
Yep. Probably just the best one-mana removal spell ever printed.
Yeah.
Remove it from the game entirely. Gain no life. Search for no land.
Oh man, I've seen some like Ancient Tomb, Lodestone Golem decks running around. Not necessarily Forge Master, but like other things.
Yeah.
And path against that deck's got to be nice.
Yeah.
They almost certainly don't have a basic land.
Well, they don't have any land. Have you seen those decks? They play 16 and how many Mox Diamond?
Well, that was Baumholt's deck.
Yeah, but like a lot of them are just super greedy.
Well, I feel like Dan's list is kind of greedy too. I mean, 4 Wastelands and 20 lands? That's tough.
So if Dan... Yeah.
He has 4 8-drops in his deck. Come on.
How is he ever going to get to 8? Yeah, bang.
Ooh.
Wait, hold on. No.
He got Wastelanded, but...
Oh, there's his library. I thought he was bidding his library. And Zenith for a Tarmogoyf. Go to 2. Oh, just cast Tarmogoyf.
Sylvan Library for Tarmogoyf. It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
Dan's at 2. Both creatures are lethal. He's got to come up with 2 removal spells, and he didn't have 2 the last turn, so... Oh, that'll do, actually.
It'll work.
Yeah. And Kemper's out of paths. Dan might actually have stabilized here.
Yeah, especially since Lightning Bolt can't be in Kemper's deck. God, do you realize that this is exactly the situation where you would want something like Consuming Vapors?
Yeah.
Just drop the hammer, get your Tarmogoyf.
Get out of burn range if he kept those in.
Or just do that.
Going for the throat.
Send.
Dan is quite literally going for the throat right now.
Yeah. And despite bricking on his second land drop, despite running into the Exalted Crew plus Tarmogoyf, despite fighting through double white removal spell, and getting wastelanded off of his third land, he has hit a slew of cards that has put him back in this game.
I think what actually happened was the explosives for 1 killed 3 things, and Kemper didn't necessarily have to play his second Wild Nakaro.
Yeah. I think he was just overextending for... I don't know if I agree with this brainstorm.
Yeah, the end of turn brainstorm, I for sure just untap, draw a card, and dig a card deeper.
Yeah, I think that Dan has a little bit of adrenaline going here.
Yeah, I mean this is a sick comeback.
Yeah. But I don't think that running that brainstorm there is justifiable.
No.
It's actually just draw a card. Draw a card, scry 2. Oh, but you can't actually put either of them on the bottom.
Did he keep a Force of Will?
Yeah, the Force of Will is the card in his hand. He's going to be able to Force of Will something.
I imagine that Knight is much bigger than the Tarmogoyf at this point, though.
Yeah, good chance.
So he's stuck in the abyss, most likely, especially with that Wasteland, that Horizon Canopy.
Yeah, that brainstorm play might have actually just killed him.
So we have to fetch in a turn.
And now we're dead to both of his creatures, so...
I think you just force this Hierarch, right?
Yeah, you have to force the Hierarch, and you have to peel Consuming Vapors,
yeah,
or Snuff out.
Jace would be okay.
Jace is fine.
I feel like Kemper should probably waste one of the black sources. So he can't get
to cut off
Tombstalker.
his Tombstalker.
Yep, yeah. So Dan definitely Force of Wills that, because he's not going to get another chance to necessarily.
There it is.
And him to Taraku, good game.
I'm up.